line, and composition are all essential elements of art. Color, the hues and values help to create an emotional response, as does line, used in defining outlines and creating movement. Composition creates harmony and balance. Welcome to People, Places, and Politics. I'm Patty Milne. We are going to talk more today about color, line, and competition with my guests. Joining me today, Susan Appleby and Lorraine Dye, who were here in June, and we talked about the art scene in Salem and the Red Raven Gallery, and a little bit of background on you two ladies. And you have brought with you today your friend and fellow artist, Ruth Horschel. And so I'd like to welcome you ladies, and we have a lot to talk about today, so we're going to move quickly here. I would like to go first to Ruth, and I understand that art's been a part of your life since you were a small child and through your adolescent years, and that you also spent some of the early years of your life in East Berlin, Germany. So talk to us about your background and the various mediums you've used and where that leaves you today and what you focus on.
Okay, so actually I've spent most of my life in Berlin. I grew up in East Berlin, and I come from a family that is very close to the arts, lots of artists, my uncles. My dad is an Egyptologist. That was very interesting because I always saw history and art together, and that influenced me a lot. And I started trying out different things like clay, drawing, textile work, since I was a child, since there was so many opportunities in the family. So I stuck with mostly sewing through my earlier adult years and was sewing for my children, and then from there it led to sewing applications, pictures, applique work, and at a point I felt like it is not going fast enough to express what I feel, so I had to start using paints, acrylic paints. So I've been painting for the last couple of years, a little bit longer than that, almost 3 years now, with acrylics, yes.
Great. And you also are affiliated with the Red Raven Gallery?
Yes, I'm a member since 2014, March 2014.
Great. And so there are a lot of art things, events and shows coming up in Salem and through the gallery. So let's talk first then about the Red Raven Gallery presenting Color, Line, and Competition. And I did borrow from your press release that opening comment I made. I didn't think that up, but it was very intriguing. Color, Line, and Composition. And that runs from August 4th through August 29th. So this show, I understand, is featuring you, Ruth, and you, Susan. So to pique people's interest, I'm going to turn around here, and you have each brought a piece of artwork. So let me go first to Susan and talk about your piece of artwork that you brought and the process you go through to create something as beautiful as this.
Okay, I was actually going through that last night. How does this happen? A lot of times I like to get out in nature. I also like to do a lot of photography. So most of my stuff will come from, I doubt if this would show very well, but it's just a piece picture that I took at the beach. I do acrylic and also mixed media. This is an acrylic piece that just has a lot of washes and a little accents. Call it Coastal Driftwood. It actually won first prize at the Valley and Views show at the gallery last month, so I was real pleased with that.
Perfect.
So I do a lot of close-up and cropping, and then once I kind of decide what I'm going to do, it just starts with, the color palette that you want to use. I do mixed media, so do I want to use acrylic? Do I want to add in ink or different things? And usually I'll do a quick sketch, trying to get the composition, start with the color, and then just kind of go through there. It's kind of different with each one, but it's just you probably don't think of all the different things that go into a painting. You just think you sit down and start painting, but it actually is a thought process and, you know, a lot going into it.
So you mentioned you start with a color, among other things. So in
Yeah.
what color did you start with in this? I'm just curious from the artist's perspective.
Like
I know
in
what
the
I see. but-
picture, it's pretty much just a grayscale and stuff. So I just, you know, I want it to be brighter. I added the blues in the skies, and the beach was very important. And then these were just some rocks that were out at the ocean. So, and then it just kind of all comes together somehow in the end.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. So, well, we'll just go down here then. So, Lorraine, talk about your picture and how did you create that? What's the process here?
This
the
one
thinking?
is out of pastels, and if you notice this box in front, these are pastels, and if you went ahead and rubbed your fingers on it, you would have pastels everywhere because that's the way they are. They're a ever flexible, always smearable medium that's been used since 17th century, 16th century. And this little piece just, I love trees and I love color. So then I just started playing with all the trees and just throwing in color, and sometime did some reversals of, you know, some people ask me, what is this little pathway here? It's not really a pathway, but it can be, is whatever people see in it. And you just, sometimes the painting will tell you what's going to happen next. I'll pick up one of these pieces and go, not the right one, and put it back. And I remember one time when I was up painting at Red Hawk Winery, and I had all my pastels all laid out onto a picnic table, and I was painting the two cats that are up there, and I turned around, I was looking at the vineyard, and I turned around, and there's one of these cats laying all over the pastels, and when he got up, his one whole side was covered.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. But that's how they work. It's pretty fun.
Great. And Ruth, what have you brought with you?
Well, I brought this one. This is not a very new picture. It's an older one, but it kind of shows a little bit about the process, I think, and it also will be in the show that's coming up. I like acrylics because they dry fast and I can work with them while they're wet. Obviously, this has many layers. So sometimes I use a canvas that already has been used before and I'm not happy with it and go over it and over it and over it. This one is not from a photo. This is just out of my head because I like sunflowers and it was summer, and it's actually called Summer Dance because it's kind of the celebration of the season with all these colors in there, and the process is maybe a little different than most people think. I work with a squeegee. I work with a household squeegee. I either put the paint on the piece and work it around, or for the smaller details, I put a little paint on a corner and then work with that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's beautiful. All these are beautiful.
Thank
Just
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
What's interesting is that she does it on, is that paper?
That is-
This is paper.
It's
yeah.
just paper?
Sometimes I'll use paper, sometimes canvas. There's also
Right.
cradle boards that you can work on. So there's just so many.
And you work on
Mostly canvas.
mostly
yes.
canvas, and I work on sandpaper.
Sandpaper?
Sandpaper.
Really?
Because you have to have it a lot of layers to make when you talk
Right.
about layers. So some places have maybe 10 layers on them in color, and the grit in the sandpaper holds the pastel onto the paper.
Wow. That's very impressive.
pretty
what other
fun.
what other tips can you give?
What other tips? Sometimes I can show this. If
Please
that is-
do. Talk
yes.
about all these things you've brought with you.
Sometimes I have a photo like where I like this cat, I like the light on here, I like the perspective, it's a little different, so I thought this would make a cool painting, and I had this worked out for the gallery once, and it shows a little bit the background layers. I kind of want to work with these colors. I like bright colors. And then I just outline with my squeegee a little bit.
Yeah.
Right there, the outlines, then I fill in the base color, and later I do the highs and the lows with the light and the shadow and the little details.
That,
So,
yeah.
and that is a
Yeah.
very long process. It goes, of course, over days and days and days. So, yeah,
That's fascinating.
yeah.
It's a fun way to spend a lot of time.
That's
What else did you bring with you? So, on any other things on your artwork
On the art,
specifically?
just that, not when we'll get into the other part where
Okay.
we're talking about some other
Okay.
things, but on pastels, it's always movable. That's why they're always behind glass, which is, and they're also shadow box frame because if the dust falls down, it falls down in between.
Very, yeah.
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 So you have to be very careful with moving it and
Yes.
find a place and have it stay there.
Yep.
Don't juggle it
No,
around.
no, no, It likes to
All
be
the
still.
colors would be moving around.
Well, sometimes they do a little bit. It's not a big deal when you've got that many layers on them. This paper, this is the sandpaper, and it will hold up to 35 layers. Can you feel it? It's made
Definitely.
in a sandpaper plant back east.
But specifically for art.
Mhm. Yep.
Fantastic. What else do you have? What else did you bring?
well, I also do textiles, which are
Yes, I
available
wanted
at the
you to talk about that, yes.
gallery. So, since I've been sewing basically all my life, and I really love it, it's fun to create new things. And especially now, I do mostly creating new things out of old things, which is really in right now. But it's also a really fun way. Sometimes fabrics or t-shirts have beautiful patterns and colors, and that's so much fun to put them back together. So yeah,
I wish it were possible to get that dress you brought with you.
we're
Somehow
kinda-
here, I'm not sure how
Yeah.
we sit if the camera can get it, maybe not. But that's beautiful. It's just gorgeous.
thank you. Yeah.
So maybe we can figure out a way before we're finished. But would you talk about it? Maybe we can get the camera on it somehow. But talk about that piece
talk
that
about
you
that,
brought with you, and
Well, the process
if we can
starts
do
with going to a thrift store or other places and looking for material, which can take a long time, you know, because I want to find things that kind of match or not match, but have different patterns, but go together. Like there, you can see the gray in the flower. Then there's another gray in the other part of it, and then usually I have either I make a pattern or I have already an idea how I want to make the piece to look in the end. So according to that, I cut it up and patch it back together in different ways. So, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and I do that with sweaters, with wool material. I do all kinds of different things. Cashmere wraps, and it's always fun because I really like texture and color, and I like combination of fun things.
The in thing is to recycle,
Yes.
reuse,
Exactly.
and
it's just so much
and
fun.
she turns things into beautiful things.
Thank you.
Just really love them at the
that
gallery.
dresses, and we might be able to get that.
I know.
Excuse me, over
it's
here,
coming.
and maybe Michael, if you just hand it to Ruth, and she can share
Well,
that.
this is basically the T-shirt that I took as a first one, and then found the other ones matching the colors or kind of
That's
complementing
really
it.
beautiful.
And yeah, it's a fun little dress. It will be for sale in August because I just finished it this week.
Oh, that is just fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other comments you ladies would like to make on the work you've brought with you, or your process, or things that you've done, how you do it?
It's just each one is just a kind of different. You know,
They are different.
You're looking at it as at a different time, different perspective. You know, you're feeling different.
A lot of times people will ask, what's your favorite painting? And I know you probably get those too, yeah? And it's the one you start. Because there's the challenge, and it's the challenge that I get excited about. And then the finish you're excited about. And then frame it, goes into a show, and then boom, another project. And that's what's fun.
Good.
sometimes you don't know when you're finished.
That
so.
was what I was going to say.
Exactly,
You know,
and
have
I
I put
take usually
enough?
mine and put them in a place in my house where I can see it when I come in from different angles. And sometimes I decide I don't like it at all, and then I paint over it. Sometimes I see little things that need to be changed, you know, so I have it around for a while before I decide, okay, I leave it the way it is.
That happens.
Yeah.
So talk about this show, August 4th through the 29th. Talk about that. Tell people what it's all about and when it is and where it is.
It will be at Red Raven Gallery down on Liberty Street. Ruth and I will be the feature artists, but all the other members of the gallery also contribute. Everybody will kind of do something that relates to color liner composition. So one of the things I'm working on, hopefully finish up, is I took some beach photos that I have and kind of did 3 that have the same photo but a different composition, and then I have a little series of sort of the similar ones but different colors. So you know, it's just kind of fun working your art into the themes. We'll have our reception first Wednesday from 5 to 8, and we always have wine and appetizers. Robert Fox, a member of the gallery, will be he makes funky felt hats, so he will be there demonstrating his technique on that. And then the show will run all month, but it's fun. The gallery has new show every month, and we curate the whole gallery, and it's
And the first Wednesday that Susan is talking about is Wednesday, August
5th.
And that's from 5 to 8 p.m.? Great, great.
Yeah.
And
Ruth, what are you going to be showing at that
At
show?
that show, a couple new paintings I finished, and this one, for example. But there's also another show I have 2 pieces in, that is the River Gallery in Independence. And that show is called Peaceable Kingdom, and it's all about animals, because some of the proceeds from the sales will go to that animal clinic
Good.
that's
Good.
there, and that's a lot of fun. So I'm excited about that.
In Independence, do you have the address of that?
I do have the
Yeah.
address, but
It's
I need
right
to put
across
this-
from the amphitheater,
But I
right on
have
the
the
main street,
address.
River Gallery.
Yes,
River
it's called
Gallery.
River Gallery, and it is on 184 South Main Street.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's really easy to find.
Great. Across from the amphitheater.
Right.
Right.
Right on the
Great.
main
So that
thing.
will be a great show, I think.
And then you talked last time, Susan, about this steampunk. Tell us about that again.
Okay, in October we have a juried event for steampunk, which I even brought the little card again. All media is accepted. Steampunk has been it seems like it's coming everywhere you look. You know, there's
Very
new people
popular.
involved in it. One thing that says on the card, with fantastical and inventive imagery born from authors such as H.G. Wells and Jules Verne, what we're doing is looking for inspiration that brings life to the beauty and technology of the steampunk genre, which kind of includes technology and aesthetic designs inspired by 19th century industrial steam-powered machinery. So it's really open. There's 3D, there's a lot of 2D art. Josh Kinsey, he's from Silverton and is getting quite a name for that, will be our juror. So that's coming up in October. Deadline for entries is August 21st and 22nd. There at the gallery, and the information is on our website at www.redravengallery.com. And then on that too, the following month we have our textile show, which will be fun. Any type of textiles, basketry, weaving, crocheting,
Quilting.
wearables, quilting, and that's going to be juried by Janet Ogdahl from Mauvelise and Paul Zona from Tangled Pearls, and they're real excited to be involved in everything. Drop off on that September 24th and 25th, so there's still time to get artwork done
Great.
for that.
Okay. And then I also have on my list, is that what you did? Textile from art to apparel. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We got that one in. Also, there's a salon show at Bush Barn.
Yes, Salem Art Association's Bush Barn Art Center. That's their Salem Salon 2015. And it's held in the gallery upstairs. I submitted a piece and won an award, which is always prestigious when you win something at the Salem Art Association and it's highly juried. And I was shocked, actually. But it was well, I mean, it was just well received, and always great to be acknowledged for your work.
Very
That was
good.
it.
Yeah.
And then the other shows coming up around town are there's a show put on by Artist in Action, and it will be held at the State Capitol in the Galleria, and that's just the 7th through the 14th.
Of
And
what
that's
month?
Of August.
Of August. Okay.
And that's where this painting's going to go into that
wonderful.
show. And then, do you want me to talk about
Please
us?
do.
Okay.
Please do. I wanted you to be certain to talk about that.
And the big community event is the Bus Shelter Paint-In. And this is where, with a partnership with Britta Franz, and we're just offering the opportunity to the community to go out and pick a bus shelter and give us a design that can be like not necessarily juried but okayed to make sure we're on the right track here. And then all this happens in the month of August, on the weekends, Saturdays, Sundays in the month of August. And to get all the information and to register is email to buspaintin, says buspaint.in@gmail.com. Don't forget the dot there.
Yes.
And there is no money involved, just artistic talent and fun stuff. And the Capitol building just reserved the bus station right across from the Capitol building today. And they're going to, I don't know what they're going to do, but they'll do something fantastic. And CB2 Architects is putting something in that is 3D. I haven't figured out how they're going to do it, but they're architects. So it's very exciting.
Is
So-
there still an
Sounds very
opportunity?
There
for
is still an
people to
opportunity
sign up?
we're still taking people
Good.
signing up. The deadline to at least sign up is the 25th. But we'll still take reservations as long as another bus stop isn't already reserved.
Okay. And can you tell, because there's still an opportunity, there are some do's and don'ts that are very basic.
The basic rules and regulations pretty much dictated by the the Salem Kaiser chariot system is it has to be see-through. People have to be able to see in and people have to be able to see out. And then no political, there's some little guidelines, but just basically to see through. We've got Boys and Girls Clubs that are going to pick like 3 or 4 of them around the city. And they'll all just be really exciting. With lots of publicity, the Statesman Journal has always done a great job, and even the Statesman Journal is picking out a space.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So this will be so much fun. And it could be a whole thing where there'll be a tour that we'll organize to just get in your car and go around and see the different art in the bus stops all over the city and Kaiser and perhaps Independence and Monmouth.
Great.
So fun event.
Great. Did we cover everything? I think I might have a couple more things on my list here that I wanted you to talk about. And I think, Susan, you Paint the Town. What is that?
Artist in
Yes.
Action, the local
Paint the
group.
Town.
They have a Paint the Town that goes through May all the way through the end of August, and then with a juried show at Elsner Framing. So I think it's a $20 fee whether you're a member or not a member of Artist in Action.
Right.
This Friday at 4 p.m., no, 10 to 4, the Willamette University Martha Springer Botanical Garden is where it's going to be. So everybody just kind of shows up with their Sketchcat or camera and creates art. Yeah,
Painting.
yeah.
Great.
And then Artists in Action, I thought they had something else going on too.
Was there an art, paint, and wine around town? Did
Well,
you talk about
we
that?
were talking yesterday that we keep seeing these things online about people, big gatherings where you paint and drink wine, and I don't know, did you find out any specifics of
I didn't find a whole lot, but I know there's a lot of those things going on right now, and I think it's great to encourage everybody to just jump in and do it. It's usually somebody there, a teacher or so, that guides you, and you can have fun and drink wine. And I know Gilgamesh Brewery has that going, and I think there's a lot more that you can find online. Honeywood Winery does
Some of the
that.
wineries are,
yes,
right.
and probably a lot of other wineries. It's really big right now. I think it's just fun. It you know, it takes the edge off with the wine. I think you just go for it.
Go and
Freer
paint
to
something.
paint, right?
Yeah.
Free your spirit.
And that's great for the soul, you know.
And just get more people involved in,
Exactly.
you know, taking a chance and doing some art.
So how can people know where to go and sign up? Is that necessary, or do you just show up?
I'm sure there's sign-ups. I don't have any specifics.
Okay.
I've seen a couple that have popped up on Facebook just recently, and some photos in a big room, and it was just full of people painting and drinking wine, I guess. So
Maybe we have to start that too.
Wine
That
or
would be
beer.
fun, you know.
yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
at the
it might-
gallery event.
Yeah, we even talked about that.
Yes,
Maybe holding that
exactly.
at the gallery once a month or something.
Yeah, and having different
Highlighting the
mediums.
winery.
Yeah.
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 And then
That could
get
be.
together. That would be a lot of fun.
So, excuse me, anything else? We have a couple minutes left. Anything else you want to touch on that we didn't?
Well, if you wanted me to expand on this, I can
Please-
tell you
Please
that
Go ahead.
this is
for
a
few-
movement that is happening all over the USA, Seattle to New York and Europe, with painting things. And I just heard today where Klamath Falls is doing it's for the birds. And what they're doing is the light stations that are square boxes, they're inviting artists to come and paint on them, and then they're putting like a small bio about the birds.
Nice.
Isn't that kind of fun? That's all down Main
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
Great.
And then just downtown, first Wednesdays, Elsner Framing.
Yes.
Deanna White, a wonderful pastel artist, is there now through the end of the month. But they have a new show. The gallery over at Willamette Heritage Center. Had a little list here.
Compass Gallery.
Compass
Okay.
Gallery.
Yes. Yeah.
Art Department has a new show coming up.
The jewelers too, right? They
Dave
always
Wilson.
have a
And
show.
so there's a lot of fun stuff going on downtown. And be sure to, the gallery's inside between Subway and Frozonation. But we've been there about 6 months. We moved in January, so we're, you know, it's getting,
Just need to get people in the door.
yeah.
We're there, and we're great.
Remind people in these last couple of seconds your address. One more time.
It's 155 Liberty Street Northeast, 2 doors down from the Reed Opera House South, and we're just on the first floor in room 140. And we're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6.
Great.
And the
And-
website?
www.redravengallery.com, and we've got a great mix of art and gifts, items, cards, all different kind of one-of-a-kind
A
cards.
lot of
and
talented people.
yeah,
There
definitely.
really are. Well, ladies, we're running out of time, so thank you. Ruth, it's great to have you come and join us.
fun
And
being
Lorraine,
here.
good to see you again. And Susan, thank you. And thank you for bringing your
Sure.
beautiful
Thank
art.
you.
Thank
Patty.
you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Come back.
We will do. Thank you.
Come back.